What is up, dudes and lady dudes? Welcome back to JustNutz, guys. Today we've got another deck profile. This time we're looking back at ABCs. This is a really cool deck, and on the last ban list we got Buster, ABC Buster Dragon, put 2/2 on the ban list, which allows this deck to actually play in a grindier setup, and so because of that, I wanted to go back in and update the deck list. It's a really cool deck. Now, I'll be honest, I personally prefer Magnet Warriors to this deck, but it is what it is. It's still a really cool deck. It still does some really cool things, and I still think some people are sleeping on it. I really think this is like a pretty cool rogue deck that is better than people give it credit for. So, without further ado, let's just jump in. Let's get in these. Let's get into these monsters. Starting off here, obviously, plain and simple: 3A, 3B, 3C. I'm not trying to kid anybody here. Like, we're just keeping it simple, keeping it clean. These are very important. All three of them are extremely important, and you really don't want to leave them out. B's the best one. A's probably the second best one for recursion, but C's still pretty important as well, letting you get extra pieces out of your hand. There, so don't sleep on any of them. You need all three to even make the strategy do what it wants to do, so I'm maxing out on all of them. You kind of just want to open them with field spell or unauthorized activation, reactivation, and kind of get things going from there. So playing all three, 4 bricks, we're playing Union Driver, and then 1 copy of Heavy Mech Support Armor. This card's only kind of a brick. It's not that bad. This card, though, is a brick, but you really need to play it. So one of the restrictions this deck has is some of its best power cards have a restriction along the lines of, like, equip a monster with another monster, with a Union monster, but then you can't summon that Union monster you equip them with for the rest of the turn. Well, this card says you can banish him to equip any other, like, legit target from your deck. So the idea is you equip him originally, and then you use him to equip another card, and then he was under the restriction, but the new card is not. So then you can special them, keep extending, and then just continue with your combos. But we don't want to brick on him, so we're only playing 1. It seems to be fine at 1 so far, but you really don't want to draw it. It's like the worst brick in the deck for sure. And then Heavy Mech Support Armor. This is a pretty cool card. When it's normal summoned, you can revive any Union monster from grave, and he gives like a small buff and like targeting protection, I believe, when it's equipped to something. So it's a cool card, allows you to extend, especially after turn 1, but it's pretty searchable, so I wasn't too worried about playing it at more than 1. Didn't want to brick on it. Same thing as Union Driver, but still wanted to play it nonetheless. Which takes us to the last of our like actual like machine monsters. We've got 2 copies of Galaxy Soldier, and we also have 1 copy of Photon Orbital. Now, this is the only card missing from the profile here, so I'm proxying it here. Keep in mind, this card is like $60. This card's insane. But essentially what it says is while it's equipped to a monster as an equip spell, you can send it to the graveyard while being an equip spell to then add any Photon or Galaxy monster from your deck to the hand. So the idea is at some point during a main combo, you go to Union Carrier, equip this to something, send this to add Galaxy Soldier, and then you use Galaxy Soldier from that point on to pop the rest off. And so just playing this 1 card with the 2 Galaxy Soldiers allows you to really raise the ceiling of the deck for one of its like main combos that you're going to see pretty consistently. And so you're not just ending ABC Dragon Buster, you're ending a little something extra on top, which is pretty nice. So I like it a lot. It allows you to go like Cyber Dragon Infinity, and or just make like extra link material, which still works, and it's pretty good. So that's it for like the real monsters. The rest of the monsters, nothing crazy here. Hand traps, you know how it is. 3 Ash, 3 Veiler, 2 Nibiru. Listen, combo decks are still a thing in this format, so you still got to be ready for them. Ash obviously hits so many things. Veiler hits Vertanaconda and other things. And then Nibiru is one of the more powerful hand traps hitting combo decks at the moment. Plus it has some cool interactions with this deck where you could go like ABC Dragon Buster to banish something, then go trigger ABC Dragon Buster to tag itself out, then chain Nibiru and chain link 3 so that Dragon Buster tributes itself for cost, then Nibiru wipes everything, and then you still get to resolve Dragon Buster to summon back all 3 of your pieces unharmed by Nibiru. And then have a ton of link fodder for the following turn. So pretty cool interactions there, but I don't like playing 3 of something like Nibiru in a lot of my main decks. So just 2 for now, and that keeps the hand trap lineup pretty high because this deck is not amazing at going second, so you want the hand traps to help you take on that feat. Leading us into our next spells. We've got obviously 4 copies of Union Hanger. This is like the best starter in the deck. Opening this is just combo. It's a 1-card ABC Dragon Buster. Gotta love it. 3 copies of Unauthorized Reactivation. This card is also very, very cool. A lot of people have been sleeping on this card. I've seen lists that don't even play this card, don't even try to play this card. I just think it's an awesome extender. It's a quick play too, so like you could technically just use this to throw one of the pieces on to any like machine monster, and then that monster would immediately become immune to a certain type of card. So you could do something like if your opponent is about to like try and out your ABC Dragon Buster in like an awkward way, you could then just throw one of these on there and that monster is just completely unaffected for the rest of the turn, and that's pretty cool. Like if they try and Dark Ruler your Dragon Buster, I believe you can just reactivation, throw a B-Buster Drake, equip it to the Dragon Buster, and then he'll be unaffected by the Dark Ruler. Don't quote me on that, but that is, I think, a pretty cool interaction, and it might be the way it works. I think it is, because I think it just makes him completely unaffected by whatever monster or whatever card they correspond to. This card, and the equipped monster with this card is unaffected by your opponent's spell effects. So it says completely unaffected, so I think it would completely make ABC Dragon Buster able to play around that, and then able to like still disrupt your opponent, which is pretty cool. 2 Galaxy Cyclone. This is mainly for like Dogmatica / like Eldritch. It's like a fine card. It's pretty cool. It's a main deck out to Mystic Mine, which otherwise this deck like just doesn't out. So like that's kind of cool as well. It's fine. Like it's kind of a flex spot. This could be a lot of different things. If you want to play even more hand traps than I think the 11 we're main decking right now, you could. But I like having something like this at least. So game 1 we still have a chance to just like beat somebody playing like Strikers with Mystic Mine or something like that. So Cosmic Cyclone's still a pretty good card right now. So but that could be a lot of different things depending on what you really want to play. Which then takes us to the traps. For the traps, obviously 3 impermanents. Pair that with our other 8 hand traps. We've got 11 in the main, just one of the best hand traps. It's been one of the best for a while. And then finishing up the main deck, we've got Solemn Judgment, we've got Solemn Strike, and we've got 2 Gozen Match. Now feel free to mix these around as well. There's a lot of good traps you could play instead. If you want to play Ice Dragon's Prison, sure. If you want to just max out on these, you could either drop the 2 Cosmic Cyclones or drop the Solemn Judgment. Or not drop the Gozen Match and play like 3 and 3. That's up to you as well. But, you know, there's a lot of flexibility you can do here. I just like these. I think this is a good variation because Strike is one of the better traps going second. So I still like having that. And then you have like Gozen Match, just such a powerful floodgate. But I didn't want to go all in on 3 copies because if you end up in like that weird matchup where you're playing just like Salamangreat, like this deck, that deck is completely unaffected by this. So I would maybe side the 3rd and then decide to side it in or not, given the situation. And then just these are so insane. I love this card. This card is just one stop of anything. Doesn't matter. There's a lot of powerful side deck cards right now. Stuff like Evenly, Heavy Storm Dust, not Heavy, Harpy's Feather Duster, Lightning Storm, and like Dark Ruler no more, Forbidden Droplets, Triple Tax. Like there's a ton of cards right now just running around that are like that, and I like that this card is just a blanket stop any one thing that you don't like, which is pretty good. So that is it for the main. I know it's a little bit more like, I don't know, less, maybe more, not more anything. I guess it's less combo-y than you might expect. There are a lot of builds you might see out there that are pretty combo-y, but in all honesty, the deck doesn't really work that great like that. Like even with all the extenders you play, the deck's still pretty bad at playing through disruption. So I really don't like versions of the deck that play too combo-y. If you want to play a couple more extenders, that's up to you. Like if you want to play like 3 Galaxy Soldier or like another heavy mech support armor, that's totally up to you. I wouldn't bash you on if you want to play the gadgets, that's fine. I think me personally, I think this lineup is where I want to be almost exactly in terms of the ratios for the spells, monsters, and traps. So obviously feel free to mix around with it, but that is my main deck. Which takes us to the extra. Obviously, the only 2 fusions, 2 ABC Dragon Buster. This card's insane. This is like your everything. This card's so good, man. I mean, it's just a quick effect banish anything, paired with the fact that it tags into 3 monsters. And the craziest part is like you don't even use active resources to get this on the field. You just need to put the pieces in the grave, and then this card is so free. So much free, like resource fodder, and just disruption. It's an insane boss monster for sure. Continuing from there, we're on one copy of Union Carrier. You got to play it. Like I said, it's part of that combo with Galaxy Soldier and Photon Orbital. One Platinum Gadget can be really good to unbrick ABC pieces in the hand. Cleaford Genius. This is probably one of the first cards that you would drop, as well as like a Koshik. Like, I put these in here because I thought they were cool. Like, if you really think that like you wanted to play something else, or there were like some other cards that you wanted to play, I don't know, I'm trying to think, like if you wanted to play something like Appaloosa or what's it called, Access Code Talker, feel free to take these out or play some other links if you want. I think they're kind of cool though, or rank 4s even this deck can kind of abuse. But yeah, I just thought they were cool, but those would be like the first things to drop. Like, or especially if they put like ABC Dragon Buster to 3, you'd probably drop one of those for the third copy. For some other mandatory stuff, I think IP Masquerena, Cerberus, Phoenix, and Unicorn are all mandatory in the deck. This deck really utilizes these so well. You get so many just like free resource searches, so you end up with a ton of cards in hand, and also you want your pieces to go from field to grave, so you want generic links, and so these really take the cake there, and IP can just be used as like an ancillary disruption, even if you can't get to Buster Dragon. There, and then for the link 4s, we're on one Boral Sword and one Boral Load. Nothing too crazy here, honestly. The only reason I'm playing Boral Load is this deck does not have a non-targeting removal in the entire deck, so dealing with something like a Dragoon after he has fired off his negate does become possible with Boral Load, so I think that's pretty cool. Just a one of, like, this deck can link climb, and that's another thing, is I usually don't play this card a lot, but I also play a lot of like more control-y decks that don't link climb, like this deck has the capability to. So that's why I like playing 1-1. This card's for killing, this card's for outing certain threats that need to go. Avermax as well as like another one there. And then for the Exceeds, one copy of Gear Gigant X. Pretty cool card, just searches any potential extender or something, any of the level 4s that you really want in your hand. One Cyber Dragon Nova and one Cyber Dragon Infinity. You make these off of the Galaxy Soldier combo with everything, and that sums up our extra deck. So yeah, at the end of the day, I think this is just such a cool deck. It can play a ton of different ways. Like I said, if you wanted to play a lot more extenders, you totally could. That's just not how I like to roll, but this deck could be much more combo-y. This deck could be full stun. You could even drop Galaxy Soldier and Over Orbital and really lower the ceiling of the deck in terms of its combo potential, but really just bolster up your stun capabilities and just like max out on the Solemns. You could literally just play like 3 Solemns, 3 Judgment, 3 Strike, 3 goes in if you want to just drop that Orbital package, really go to town on your opponent, really just put them in a really aggravating spot in terms of losing the die roll, and or you could just play a ton of extenders and play super combo-y, although that I really think it's really fragile, like the way the deck functions to hand traps and just disruptions in general with those kinds of builds. But I still think it's really cool. It's a cool deck. It's one of those decks where like, oh, you stopped my comboing like how I was comboing, but guess what? I ended up with 3 pieces engraved, so let's banish those, and I'm just going to put my boss monster on the field for free and just continue with whatever I want. So it's one of those decks, and it's pretty cool. I really do like this deck. I'm always going to take a look at it, and it does have a cool place in like the rogue status. Definitely could top something like a regional if they were happening right now, in my opinion. Maybe we'll see that, maybe we won't, I don't know, but that's going to do it for me here today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. As always, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more stuff from me, and also feel free to throw your comments down below. I'm just one guy building these decks, so feel free to give me suggestions on the builds if you think I can edit them in any certain way. But that's going to do it for ABCs, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.